Welcome back. Let's bring you now an update from the sports desk. The world of golf is still trying to come to terms with the new dawn. A massive bombshell was dropped on Tuesday afternoon when the PGA Tour, the DP World Tour and Live Golf announced a merger of the three organizations' commercial operations. And that, they say, is to form a collectively owned entity. It comes a year after the launch of the lucrative Saudi-backed Live Golf circuit, which disrupted the men's professional game. Several big-name golfers, including South Africa's very own Charles Schwartzel and Louis Oosthuizen, relinquished their PGA and DP World Tour memberships, and that was to join this new venture. Well, let's try to get some understanding about it from somebody who knows their golf better than most of us. Talking to us, of course, about this unexpected move is golf journalist Mike Green. Mike, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for talking to us this morning. Let's just start here, because I certainly didn't. Did you see this coming?
I didn't see it coming at all, and I think in trying to tease out exactly what happened, I think it's important to point out that the agreement has been reached between the PGA Tour and the Public Investment Fund of the Saudi Arabian Kingdom, rather than Live Golf. And the new company, which is still in the making, is going to have Jay Monahan, who is the commissioner of the PGA Tour, in control of the operations of Live Golf. So the future of Live Golf, I think, is very much in the balance at this point. But yeah, it's still a pretty earth-shaking announcement on Tuesday.
So essentially what this is the PGA Tour saying, we will take you all the way in litigation if you don't give us our money and allow us to control the golf. We will let you be involved, but we need to run the show with your penny.
Yeah, I think the litigation thing cuts both ways. I think the Public Investment Fund was certainly not happy to have any of its linen aired in public, and hence the suits, I beg your pardon, the lawsuits were starting to fall away. A lot of the individual players, most of the individual players, bar one, I think had pulled out of the lawsuits. And the Saudis had made it very clear that they didn't want the head of the Public Investment Fund deposed in any of these lawsuits. And I think, by the same token, I don't think the PGA Tour wanted to go down the litigation route. There are a lot of antitrust issues in the United States about an organization that controls as much of a venture as the PGA does of golf, and the PGA Tour does of professional golf. Quite what that means for this merger is very difficult to read, because very simply, I think the antitrust concerns in the United States are probably bigger than ever now that there is this kind of joint venture in the working.
And I mean, understandably so, because Rory McIlroy was one of the biggest voices to say that this is sport washing. We will not allow this. There is no way, golfers of any integrity will join the Saudi-backed venture, and therefore, we are essentially considering it non-existent, and yet here we are. He's now backtracking on his word, saying that this merger will be good for golf. I mean, what does this then mean for golfers like Rory McIlroy, who've been so vocal against Live Golf, to see now them and PGA Tour and the DP World Tour, well, I suppose in this case it is the Public Investment Fund coming through and saying that, well, we will now work together?
Yeah, look, I think if something can be said about Rory McIlroy, he's the one man that's emerged with a lot of integrity out of this. And on a personal level, I think it needs to be pointed out that this is sports washing. It's exactly what the complaints about the Saudi Public Investment Fund's involvement in Formula One is about. It's exactly what the complaints and worries about the purchase of Newcastle United and other football things are about. So, politically, we could go down this road and argue about it forever. But McIlroy said in a press conference before the Canadian Open this week that he's come to terms with this now. He figures that if you disapprove of the source of the money, then the very least you can do is try and take control of the distribution of that money and make sure it gets used in an appropriate way.
A lot of people are essentially chuckling at his and Tiger Woods' decision to not walk away with probably the biggest paychecks, maybe close to, if not more than Phil Mickelson, that Rory McIlroy could have, walked away with. We're just going to throw a figure out there, $500 million, had he just kept his mouth shut, turned the other cheek, and joined Liv. And he said, I'm not going to do that. I mean, if you look at the payday that he could have gotten, if you look at the payday that Tiger Woods could have gotten, even for not even playing, just for saying, as Liv, that we have Tiger Woods in our camp, we're going to give him $1 billion. Do you feel that they lost out on something, or that integrity goes far beyond a paycheck?
I think integrity goes a long way beyond a paycheck. I think the other question to be asked is, how much more money do Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy really need? One of the great anecdotes I heard about the start of Liv Golf was that McIlroy and Sergio Garcia were on a driving range together. Garcia said, finally, we're getting the money, the kind of money we deserve. McIlroy said, we really don't deserve much of this, Sergio. Nurses deserve more money. Firemen deserve more money. We're playing a game and we unspeakably rich. And I think it's a poor look for golf when millionaires are trying to become billionaires and guys who are almost millionaires are trying to get over the line to become millionaires. They've got so much money for playing a game that it's kind of difficult to feel sympathy for people who have allegedly missed out and for people who have taken vast pots of money.
Mike, how do you then look at Louis Oosthuizen, Dean Burmester, Charles Schwartzel, and Brandon Grace? I mean, I would imagine you have a great passion for South African golf, and I'm sure, hearing what I'm hearing from you, you would have preferred that the best golfers in South Africa would have not defected to a controversial circuit that is Liv. How do you then look at them today?
Yeah, and that puts me in a very difficult spot because I'm actually friends with Louis Oosthuizen and Charles Schwartzel and Brandon Grace and Dean Burmester, the four guys who are on Liv Golf at the moment. And I'm happy for them that they've made a lot of money. They deserve it. They're nice guys. I would have preferred them to be able to make that kind of money through their talents. And they may well now be in a position with this whole thing unfolding over the next, I would guess, 6 months or 9 months before it becomes any kind of reality. There's going to be a way for them to continue to do so. I was sad when Dean Burmester left. Dean, I think, had a career in major championship golf ahead of him. Charles and Louis to a lesser extent. Brandon Gray certainly had something. And I was happy for guys like Henny du Plessis, who made a pot of money in his single appearance, or one of two appearances in Liv Golf. You may remember he came second in the very first Liv Golf event in London. And I'm thrilled for him that he made 9 million rand, or whatever it was. But that's on a personal level. It's got nothing to do with the morality of the situation and the political ramifications of those decisions.
Yeah. Mike, we'll leave it there with you. Thank you so much for trying to help us at least unpack, if anything, the morality aspect of Liv Golf and what this merger would or would not mean. We can only but hope that all the organizations share a bit more clarity as to what exactly it is this merger means for the sport of golf itself, because that is what everybody wants to always stay intact, the sport of golf. Thank you so much for joining us here on Newslink this morning. That is golf journalist Mike Green, of course, speaking to us out of East London, just about the recently announced shocking merger between PGA Tour, the DP World Tour, and the very controversial Saudi-backed Liv Golf circuit.